Hey again from Massachusetts. I was inspired to do this video because I was thinking about, being home with my family and where I grew up. I was thinking about how the progression of my diet and how things have changed. And how I haven't always been the way I am right now. None of us really are. We're always evolving. Hopefully, we should be, right? I've come a long way though. I grew up eating kind of the standard American diet. My parents were generally healthy. They were definitely aware of that, but not really to the extreme that I am today. To them, health meant, not eating a lot of fat, maybe not a lot of sugar, but as far as I can remember, that was pretty much it. And I remember being very confused about what I should eat. I, had a lot of trouble with my weight throughout my life, and my sister's trying to make me laugh right now. My concentration's totally thrown up. Damn you, Mary! Anyway. Yeah, so, I remember my best friend lived across the street, and her parents were always really into thinking about healthy food. And I would go over there and think everything they have was so bizarre. Like whole wheat flour, that seemed really bizarre to me when I was growing up. And they would go to this natural foods market that was really expensive. And I grew up in my head that natural foods and healthy foods were expensive. I don't know if Whole Foods was around yet. There was some similar markets, and again, if I ever asked about those, we couldn't go there because it was expensive. Even though, my family was never in that tight of a financial situation. It's just that's not where the priorities were. They didn't want to spend money on food. To this day, my parents still don't really want to do that. They don't really buy a lot of organic food. They would rather shop at Walmart, which is literally where they're going right now. And I'm trying to explain to them that, they can afford not to shop at Walmart. They can buy their stuff elsewhere. But like a lot of Americans especially, they've got it into their head. They've got it in their head that, you might as well get it at the cheaper place, even though they can afford not to. So it's really fascinating to me. Anyways, so back to my point about my evolution. Hey, cut it out. I started becoming aware of organic foods, I think, right after I went vegan, and again, that just seemed like a huge hurdle. Like, how was I ever going to afford to buy organic food? Because I was raised to think that it was too expensive. And it was a slow progression. I can't remember exactly when I went mostly organic, but it was probably within the past 3 years or so. And then again, other concepts started being introduced to me, like no packaging, or less packaging with food. I used to buy microwavable food a lot because it's obviously easier, to throw something in the microwave, until I started to learn more about the dangers of the microwave and how much packaging I was using to have a small portion of food. And the money that you could save by cooking your own fresh, healthy food, getting it from bulk in the produce. So I think what my point is here is that I want you to know that even though I live by a very kind of off the beaten path lifestyle that might seem out of reach and too challenging or too expensive for some people, remember that it's taken me a while to get here. I've been vegan for 8 years now, and I spent most of that time eating kind of a poor diet. It's really the past year or two that I really cleaned up my diet to eat healthier. And, again, the organic foods took a while. And it was really the progression of my entire life to get to where I am today. And as you can see, my parents, my family, even my friends necessarily don't follow the same lifestyle that I have. I started to surround myself with other like-minded people in Los Angeles, but being back home in Massachusetts, my best friend, fortunately, really embraces the organic and gluten-free lifestyle, and she eats very little meat. But everybody else around me, it's just like they don't really think about it. And that was the other thing I was thinking today, was how, I was out to lunch, and I was just watching the way that the food was being handled there, and people were eating nachos with sour cream and beef-based chili. And again, I'm so used to people eating dairy and meat around me. It's not like a judgment point of view. It's more of an observation point of view of how it just feels like this automated eating. I actually started to eat some of the tortilla chips, and then I sat there and realized, oh shoot, this is not organic corn. I don't want to eat this. This probably has chemicals and genetically modified corn in it. So I put it down after a few pieces, even though the chips were really good and I was hungry. And then when it came to ordering my food, I stepped back for a second and realized that the food wasn't organic, so I wanted to choose foods that weren't as part of the dirty dozen. If you didn't know this yet, non-organic food, there's a dirty dozen. There's 12 foods that you really should avoid when they're not organic, because they're the most heavily sprayed, and they hold the chemicals in them more than other vegetables. Things like lettuce and peppers, and I'm still memorizing the list. So today I had got a gluten-free pizza without cheese on it, and I chose all vegetables that were off the dirty dozen. So that was another thing that I'm trying to bring into consciousness. And again, going back to my friends, I just realized that even my friend that's really into the organic food was eating the corn chips, and there's something else that she was eating. I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, wow, like, it just doesn't occur to us because we're not always educated on it. Most people eat for taste. They don't eat because of what's good for the environment or good for them necessarily. And we also have these skewed perspectives on what's good for us. I mean, I think any of us can agree, even if you're going to eat dairy, eating a ton of sour cream is not that good for you. So just sit there just scooping it into your mouth with cheese and all, all this other stuff. Even people that are health-minded sometimes just don't think about it, or they let it go, but you start seeing them doing it over and over again. And, for me, food is fuel. It's for me to be healthy, and I'm trying to find fuel that tastes good, but first and foremost, it's about what's going to keep my body in the best condition, much like you would treat your car. Are you going to put bad oil in your car or good oil? It's really comes down to the maintenance. We all know with cars, if you treat your car well now and you give it good maintenance and you put the right type of substances in it, it's going to last longer and you're going to have less expenses later on. It's very much like our own bodies. But again, there's just so much more awareness that needs to be created around that. So that's pretty much my big mission with my site, is just to be an example, but also to educate. And I just want all of you to know, no matter where you are in your lives, whether you're vegan now or never plan to be vegan or have been vegan for years, be gentle with yourself in your progression, and know that most people aren't really judging you, but if they are, it's not really worth getting upset about, because we all, as I've said many times, are going through our own journeys and our own decisions and making, choices based on the best that we can. And that has so much to do with the people around us and where we live. Also, before I wrap this up, I'm in Massachusetts, in a very small town, and there are some actually amazing health food markets nearby, but they're about 20 minutes to half an hour away. And I don't have access to a car here. My parents have cars, but there's always some sort of conflict there. So I'm just doing the best I can. I've kind of let go of the organic thing, so I'm trying to focus on foods that, again, are not part of that dirty dozen. And I've kind of let go of my sugar thing. I'm allowing myself to have some sugar. My main focus now is to, of course, have vegan food, gluten-free food, food that is low in sugar, and just doing the best I can and being open about it. So I think that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, of course, please ask me. I love your comments. When people comment on my videos telling me about their own experiences, that's great. And not only that, if you don't want to leave a comment, be sure to check out the comment sections of my videos, because there's always really good personal stories, anecdotes on there, pieces of advice, and one day I'll incorporate that all into another video or a written piece. So as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you soon with another update, maybe even another one today.